welcome back to another edition of the Fourth Quarter Sports Show. Big game edition, volume 2, guys. All of our corners are full, as you can see today. Tanner, Mike, Noel, and Cam here for you. How you boys doing?
Good,
Wonderful.
man. We're ready to rock and roll.
It's gonna be a good game this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yes. Got that Pro Bowl amateur game out there.
I was very happy about
J.J.
Pro Bowl.
Watt even called that out for 2-hand tag. That was kind of sad.
Are you talking crap on my Patrick Mahomes over there, boy?
Hey, he got the MVP as long with old Mikey's
The
boy
best
over
safety
there.
in the game, Jamal Adams.
So,
Absolutely.
But I mean, like I didn't even really pay attention to very much.
No, I didn't.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched the dodgeball more than the
Right.
Yeah, I watched, I think, like the first 2 minutes of the first quarter, and I said, this is boring.
I do have a proposal for the Pro Bowl.
Ooh, let's hear it.
'Cause I feel like there needs to be a change.
Yeah,
I feel like they should get a decent purse and just have a golf tournament and have pairs of 2 play a scramble, and just if you Saquon Barkley matched up with Mahomes in a twosome playing a scramble, I feel like that'd be fun to watch. You don't have to worry about injuries, and they still have money to play for.
I know Juju Smith-Schuster went out there.
No one cares about the pro. They don't tune into the Pro Bowl to watch football. They just want to
You
see
watch
these people.
You want to watch
play.
the receiver challenge, the quarterback challenge, the kicker challenge. You want to watch all these challenges. You don't want to watch them actually
I'd
play
be
a
down
game.
to watch a golf match
I
for
think
like
let's
$1 million purse or a couple million.
Have
That would be big.
have everyone do a different position. So like maybe have J.J. Watt play QB.
Yeah, but you
or
still run
something,
into
you
the
know?
injury issue, which is
Well,
the
I
problem
mean-
with the Pro Bowl right now.
But it
No one
wouldn't-
tries
but-
because of the injury issue.
It's already like a 2-hand touch game as it is. Like even if they played like a flag or something.
Let's go 7-7 then.
Right?
Shoot a lineman. Just send him
like,
a
line,
or
no
something.
offensive line. We're going straight.
They
Receivers,
They have to do
corners,
something
safeties,
to
and
fix it.
quarterbacks.
Give me a golf tournament.
Yeah,
Golf
that's
tournament.
Well, I
in Hawaii.
gotta say one thing though. Juju Smith-Schuster was not ready for Patrick Mahomes' no-look pass.
Who is?
That is true.
Who is? I mean, well, guys, back on track here. We got Cake over there behind the scenes, per usual, doing his thing in his Rams jersey right now, supporting his team there as he should be. Thanks for that, but appreciate you picking up pieces as usual, and thanks for as always to all of our friends and family, for tuning in, your supports. And all of our viewers around the world, thank you very much for you guys. This is the second edition of our YouTube again, so if you're enjoying that, please give us a follow and a like. Knowing if they've forgotten how to get in touch with us, why don't you let them know?
We got Twitter. We have 2 accounts on Twitter. We also have Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Soundcloud. We're on iTunes. We're on Snapchat. We're on Google Play. We're on Spotify. I mean, we're on everything, guys. So look us up. Like us, comment on our stuff. It really helps us. We appreciate it. We like to get feedback from you guys, and it's going to help us in the future too. So
We're on every app you got except probably Tinder. So
hey, we can get there too if you want us to.
All right, guys. Well, and now if you don't know, you should know. But if you don't know, it's time to get you into the know. Our goal is to bring you some quality sports content, some fun, engaging ways, and help you enjoy being a fan of your team more. Enjoy the social aspects as well as just watching sports in general more, and maybe even spit some knowledge to that fool down that block.
I do that all day to camera.
But if this is your first time, guys, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. You found your new regular sports fix, and for our regulars, you know what time it is. Wherever you're listening in your AirPods at work, on the drive, just chilling at home, it's that time again. Let's break it down, fellas.
All right, boys. So on this slate of today, guys, we got NFL headline. Okay, we're going to do a quick little thing, and then I'm going to go over the pit of misery because me and Cameron lost last week.
So, did you guys lose? Oh.
Or 2 weeks ago, I should say. But we lost 2 weeks, so me and Cameron owe you guys a pit of misery. I'll tell you that once we get to it. And then we're going to do a youth first experience. We're going to go our position breakdowns. All of us picked one last show, so we're going to break those down. Then we're going to give our Super Bowl predictions. And then we're going to wrap it up with our back room, and then peace.
Yeah, and then later in the week, stay tuned to the podcast. We're going to try to get you a prop bet challenge.
Yes, every
prop
prop.
bets are huge for the Super Bowl.
Every prop.
You can definitely make money off props.
You can.
Oh, easy.
A lot
Coin
of
flip.
like,
a lot of
We had a
people
coin
do.
flip.
Yeah,
Woo.
you could hit it. Like you
Lot
can
of
start
people
making
do.
money.
How
right from
many
the coin flip.
completed passes is Tom Brady going to have? Or is he going to beat the Knicks
There's
total record?
halftime props, and yes, he will bring.
They got it down to the color of the gator.
Yeah,
They got it.
it's almost like adding that fantasy aspect to watching NFL. You
Yeah.
watch it for players and stats and stuff, and
And
now
you're
you're
going-
doing it for the Super Bowl. So
Yes.
it's definitely fun.
And
It's going to be one of the most betted games ever because I mean, one, all the new like legalization, but I mean, just for how big of an atmosphere this game is gonna make.
And
He's
actually help enhance the user. He's help enhance the user the experience of watching. You enjoy it a little more socially when has some skin in the game. Get a little bit more emotional. So yeah, it should be a fun episode that we release a little later for you guys there. So why don't we just go into the headlines, guys? NFL news. As you guys have heard in our regular show, this is where we're going to cover all 4 of the sports. With our big game edition, we're just going to go over NFL here, guys. What do you think about that proposed new rule change about judgment calls that we heard, guys? That's something interesting there. There's now been a proposal that will be discussed during the owners' meetings that states that coaches may have the ability moving forward to challenge a judgment call with the possibility of a strict penalty, yardage-wise, and maybe even a timeout lost as well. So thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, I mean, just personally, I don't like the idea of challenging judgment calls. I think it's more... I just need to put more responsibility on the refs.
Yeah.
And just like do something about it when they make blatantly bad calls. But I mean, there's always going to be a human aspect in the game. That's what sports are built around. I mean, can you imagine the basketball wanting to challenge every foul call? Or it's already bad enough the out of bounds when they do it.
It might open like the Pandora's box for how much they're willing to do.
Yeah, I don't think it'll happen, and I don't like it personally.
Yeah. No, I'm with you guys on that. I think it's just going to slow the game down completely.
Yeah,
so.
we're seeing one of these decisive calls, one of these missed calls, blown calls, whatever you want to call them, at the end of every single season for one team in the playoffs. So, I mean, what are you going to replay that does catch? Are you going to replay the tuck rule? I mean, these teams, this heartbreak has been seen before. So, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea if they were to implement something like that. A strict penalty is definitely something that needs to be enforced if they get it wrong. A 20-yard penalty, 50, something outside the box like that, I would agree with if you're going to implement something that takes the human element out of the game. That's exactly what Goodell said in this press conference today. So, they're human. So.
And then just some other news. I just want to get you guys' quick offensive and defensive MVPs for the season, and rookie offense and defense MVPs, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Just quickly, offensive MVP starting Cam or MVP.
MVP, I'm going to go with Mahomes, man. He threw for 50 touchdown passes. He led the Chiefs to an all-offensive season, multiple records set for him. So, I mean, for sure.
Nolan?
And then...
I agree with him.
Straight across.
You know you want Mahomes.
I think you have to say Mahomes at this point. Yeah. I think the playoffs kind of influenced that a little bit. I was kind of leaning Gurley before the playoffs, but...
Fine Waldo.
Consensus there. What about defensive play?
See, I kind of wish this was after the Super Bowl because, I mean, you still have to go with Aaron Donald. I mean, he had 20.5 sacks. Like, the guy's a freak.
Khalil Mack had a good season.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So, as of right now, I mean, I'm going to go with Donald. He's going to the Super Bowl. Like, they had this miracle run, but if he doesn't perform, then I would say Matt, just because I don't really like the Rams.
Quickly, Nolan?
I'm going with him again, man. I mean, you have to go Donald. He's a monster.
Consensus.
I mean, against the Kansas City, it's like he dominated that game. He caused 2 strip fumbles.
Right.
One of them was a touchdown.
Jamal.
Possibly consensus again.
Maybe in a flag football.
Offensive rookie of the year.
Yes, we don't have to go over this. I think we all can just say.
Yeah.
Saquon?
Yeah.
Offensive rookie?
Sure.
No, I do not have.
Do not say Sam Darnold. You say Dan
Homer ass mouth.
Baker Mayfield as my offensive rookie of the year.
I mean, I can see your argument, but
right.
Barkley,
shut your damn mouth. I'm not going to pick
Barkley's
Darnold, all right?
Monster.
Respect me a little more than that.
I have one that might throw you for a curveball. I don't agree with the whole way that Ben Simmons got his rookie of the year, but I'm just going to give it to Patrick Mahomes. This is his first full season. He didn't play last year except week 17, a meaningless game. I'll give. I'm buying for Patrick Mahomes rookie of the year.
This is the first time I'm ever hearing Tanner vote for a Kansas City player. I like what I see.
All right, defensive rookie real quick.
Mike, who you got for defensive?
Defensive rookie is a little different there. What's
Leonard from the Colts or Derwin James?
No, Derwin James from San Diego, right?
That
I think that's who I was looking at immediately.
Did you say San Diego?
Take a shot.
I did say San Diego.
Shot it up, boy!
I apologize, city of San Diego. You were beautiful, but you do not have to say it anymore.
We haven't forgotten you, San Diego.
We're here for you.
I got Leonard from the Colts.
Yeah, I mean,
his
he turned it
tackle
on as a
totals were
late.
incredible.
He led the league, right?
Yes,
Yeah, so,
for a
I mean,
rookie.
Yeah, for a rookie.
On a defense.
This was
that's
a
well,
much,
okay.
This is a much closer race than I
Okay,
think
what about
offensive
what about the Boise State guy from the Cowboys?
Leighton Vander Esch. The only thing that hurts him is he didn't start
late,
until like
yeah.
week 5.
Yeah, and then he just
But he
turned it on
I
and
mean,
killed
him
him.
and Derwin James.
He
and
should have
Jamal
started the
Adams,
whole
I think
season.
They
He should
all
have.
should get their love, but I mean,
Sean Lee's gone. Sorry.
alright,
You ready to move on?
Move on to the
yeah,
game.
I think. Well, I mean, Nolan, we have a little.
We're just gonna
Hey,
skip to the game. Screw this little part. I'm just kidding.
No, Pit of Misery, guys. Something that's been missing from a couple weeks here. We did our last football edition of the Pit of Misery during the AFC and NFC championships. Nolan, why don't you tell a little bit how that turned out here?
Okay, so I have Kansas City. Cameron had the Saints, and as you guys all know, that they both lost. So we made a deal that the losing teams would have to do a punishment, and our punishment is we are going to go into Walmart over off of Overland and Meridian, and we are going to put headphones in. We're going to put headphones in.
Come hang out.
If you want to come see us, you'll see us in there, but we're going to go over
We're
there.
gonna change that up now. We'll see.
We're going to put headphones in, and then me and Cameron do a little duet inside of Walmart. So if you guys want to see it,
We'll post it on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow the Instagram.
yes, follow
Yeah.
because it's going to be a good one. like
And
that.
this is just one of many hilarious pranks and punishments that are going to be coming up here shortly for you guys as we implement this into college basketball somehow. If you were following the podcast during the NFL season, we had some pay-ups there, and we have a lot of exciting ones left in the Pit of Misery.
Cameron has a big one still.
I've got a few.
As well as the punishments that have already been drawn. I think in one of the future podcasts we will do a rundown of that and make the Pit of Misery section a little bigger. But let's move, guys. Let's move into youth versus experience here. Let's see who you're siding with in these favorable matchups here. QB's first. The experience with Brady or the youth with Goff. Who are you going with, Noel?
You are dumb if you're taking Goff. I am
Yeah.
sorry. The reason why, it's Tom Brady. The best quarterback in the history of the NFL. You have to take Tom Brady. Because if they're down, what do you know? Here comes Tom Brady and the Patriots. They're going to come back and win. Atlanta knows something big about that.
Sounds like a salty Chiefs fan right now.
Well, yeah, I mean,
No,
I hate
don't
Tom
tell
Brady
me
with the
that.
passion, but you have to take
You got
Tom
it.
Brady. You can't
You
bet
have
against
to.
him, man.
No, don't worry. It sounds like a salty Jets fan for the last 20 years. Don't worry. I feel you, bro. All right. No, I think you have to take Brady. Absolutely. I think with Goff, inexperience it may show. It showed on it against the good teams in the regular season. I think Brady has the experience, has the rings. Is definitely who I would take in this matchup.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue Brady
I mean,
as far as the quarterback position.
Just this, I mean, did you guys see that little, his stats from the very last game against the Rams to this one from 20 years? I mean, it's just amazing the career that guy's had.
It
At
is.
that point, he'd only started 13 games, and he's at to where he's at now. So
What
we
is
have
he?
to go with Brady.
He has
man.
8 what? This is 8 Super Bowl? 9 Super Bowl?
No, if he
Nine.
wins, yeah, it'll be his 9th all time.
Yeah, and it's
Ah!
three in a
It'll
row.
be his 6th if he wins it. He's going
He's been to
first.
3 in a row, something like that.
Yeah.
Been to 4 in a row, something like that.
I think it's
don't
2 in
know
a
what it
row.
is.
Because
This will
2000.
be his third.
Yeah, third.
Yeah,
So
third in a row.
Falcons, Eagles.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Right.
Okay, guys. Well, yeah, I think that was a little bit an easy one. This
Wait,
one.
hold on. I got one last thing. So he's won. He's going for his 5th MVP. Out of the dynasty, he's won 4, right? Who was the other person on the Patriots to win an MVP?
Oh.
Regular season or Super Bowl?
No, of the Super Bowl.
Branch.
It was a. I was gonna say.
Deion
I was gonna say
Branch
too.
was the other one.
I hate knowing that as a Jets fan, but
I
damn
was
it.
trying to sneak that in there.
You can't get nothing past us.
It was a lucky shot.
All right.
This
guys.
next one's going to be a good one. I
Yeah,
think we're gonna have a battle.
coaches. So why don't we move this to the coaches? We have a photographic
the
memory
best
come
one, I
come
feel.
of age. We had a little Tanner predict a little passing of the torch here. So why don't I start off with you, Tanner? Belichick, McVay. Who are you taking?
I mean, just if you match them up together, I think Belichick has the more experience. McVay has a little more creativity and maybe some unpredictability about him, given that he hasn't been to the Super Bowl before. So a lot less tape on him, what he wants to do. But, I mean, you have to go with Belichick. Just game planning, 2 weeks to prepare. He's been here before. I mean, that team knows what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I agree with him. As you saw at the Kansas City, every defensive formation that came out, Belichick they would have a set play, and then he'd say, okay, if defense lines up this way, change the play to this. If the defense lines up this way, change the play to this on every single play. Every single play. And his coaching is phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how McVay can come into this game and how outside the box he's willing to go. If he is willing to risk it early on the 4th down, if he calls another fake punt, if they do something crazy early to gain momentum, or just even late in the game. But I mean, I'm with you guys for sure. You have to go with the hood. He's been here before. He's the greatest all time.
Last game, everyone was bashing McVay for kicking the field goal from the 1-yard line. But, I mean, I think that just adds to the unpredictability of what he's able to do.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think he doesn't make a decision without considering every single angle. That's why I'm going to go McVay here. And you guys can consider consider my opinion as a salty Jets fan, someone who hates the Patriots, and those are true. But I've seen Belichick, kind of up front and in person, for 15 years now, and I think he is a little overrated. I think a lot of that offense is Tom Brady. I think a lot of the play calling and the scheme of the offense is built around Tom Brady, and I think Belichick has ridden the coattails a little bit. But that's just my own personal opinion. So you think
it's the opposite of everyone else calling out Brady just riding the coattails of Belichick?
Yes, I do think it is opposite. I think Brady is considered the greatest quarterback of all time, and I think he's the one that is making a lot of this. I'm really, really, really excited to see how the Patriots move forward without Brady.
Agreed.
Because I think it's going to be a crash and burn. I think McDaniels may
I'm kind of
rise there. And
I think the best move for Belichick is to leave when Brady does.
So because I think he's going to be shown up as a little not a fraud. I think fraud's too extreme.
But done with old Timmy D.
But yeah, so that's why I'm going to McVay here. I like the unpredictability. Exactly what Tanner said. I think that's kind of my wild card here.
Yeah.
So, guys, well, what about just the experience in general? Are you just going to go with the vets who have been there before? Last 3 years, New England Patriots. You're going to go with the youthful, exciting, high explosive team in the Rams, who are kind of the up and comers.
That Rams defense has so many stars that are hungry for the Super Bowl, and they don't take it lightly that they're underdogs against the Patriots. You got Sue, who's been in the league for a long time. Donald. Talib's been there forever. He even played for the Patriots.
Peters.
You got Brandon Cooks on the offensive side of the ball, who also played for the Patriots. So the experience is there, and I think they're hungry for it. So don't underestimate what they have.
Definitely don't underestimate them.
Yes, I threw that in as a little curveball. There is experience on the Rams side. I think you pointed that out, Tanner. And Nolan, what about yourself?
I'm going to go with actually the Patriots again here, just because the Patriots are looking for blood, guys. They lost the Super Bowl last year. Yeah. Tom Brady was not happy.
He's pissed.
And that team understands, okay, this is how it feels to lose. We're coming out. The Rams, they don't know how it feels. None of them have been to the Super Bowl, or they haven't won a Super Bowl lately. So I'm going with the Patriots because they went there last year. They lost. They feel what it feels like to lose, and it hurts. So I like the Patriots.
Yeah, man, I'm kind of with Nolan here. Brady, every year before this, he's kind of taken the golden boy role, but this year he's kind of taken on that McGregor mantra about him, where he's the underdog. He called himself the baddest guy in the planet, So I mean, he's kind of hit that underdog role. No one believes that I still got it. He's come out and shown that he's got it. He says he's not giving up. I don't see him slowing down anytime soon, and he's going for number 6, man. So I mean,
well, I think I'm also going with New England here. I think being in the position is a little bit different. I do like what the Rams offer, those veteran leaders in the locker room. You can't really call Talib a leader in the locker room.
Or Peters.
Yes, Peters definitely not. He's going after Sean Payton about it. Talking shit, 8 weeks ago, but that's okay.
That is Peters, though.
That's
what we got right
now. He's just one of those guys, though.
But yeah, I think I'm taking New England as well. You can't you can't substitute the experience. So being there before, I think they take it.
And at the core positions, I mean, I feel like the leadership has.
No, I agree
but,
with you.
Speaking of positions, we'll get into that in just a second. That is the main part of this podcast, guys. Tanner, why don't you tell us a little bit about how they can get in touch with us and comment on some of the things we're talking about here.
Yeah, guys. Four Corners Sports on all social media platforms. If you search it in the search bar, it will show up.
Yep.
A little different for Twitter. We have Four Corners Sports with 2 S's is the handle. I think if you still search Four Corners Sports,
we'll pop up.
Our logo will pop up that you're seeing on your podcast or the YouTube video right now. And then also Four Corners ATS, same logo, same name. And then as far as listening to the podcast, if you have better access through things like SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play. So we have all those platforms to make it a little easier for you to watch. And then obviously this episode and the last episode that we did on the championship game here are going to be on YouTube. We're going to try to get more YouTube content out, get some edits out for you. So keep an eye out for those.
No, absolutely. Thank you for that, Tanner. And just something to mention for our SoundCloud listeners. If you're listening on the app, the mobile app, it does not show a lot of the tags, a lot of the information about the episodes, really any information at all, at least from what we've seen from our own user experience on the app. So if you're wondering if there's additional things or maybe it's a breakdown of the episode, visit the desktop version of SoundCloud. You can see all the information that's going to be released in those episodes. So if you haven't noticed, we do have a new logo, but we are going to give a shout out and a thanks here in a future episode. But please tell us what you guys think of that logo. It was made by a very very talented a friendly artist of ours, a friend of the show. So we will mention that a little later. So. Thanks for that, guys. So let's go into that position breakdown.
Oh, boy!
We decided last week on version 1 of the big game here that on some positions to talk about. And we have kind of a head-to-head battle here. Tanner choosing the Rams defensive line and Nolan choosing the Patriots offensive line. I think they'll go a little bit into the linebacking core on each one, but that's to be seen. But you guys, why don't you take it away from here?
Yeah, I'll start, I guess. I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. Doing a little more research into the D-line just made me realize what this defense really revolves around. And that's Wade Phillips, guys. He came in. He's been here the last couple years with the Rams. The last 2 times that Wade Phillips has matched up with the Patriots in the playoffs was with Denver, 2014 and 2016. Both victories for Denver and Wade Phillips. He held them to 16 points in 2014 and 18 points in 2016. Granted, it's different personnel and whatnot, but I'm a strong believer in the schemes of the coaches playing a big part in the success of the team. So seeing that, holding the Patriots under 19 points in both AFC championship games with Denver is a huge plus for Wade Phillips and that defense. And that defense centers, Wade Phillips' scheme kind of centers around the linebacking core and the D-line, able to put pressure on the quarterback. In 2014, the Patriots had 64 rushing yards, 2016, 44 rushing yards. So he has a scheme that's able to shut down that run game. The Patriots have focused on that the last few weeks in the playoffs, which is huge if they're able to stop that and hold it under 75 or 100 yards total.
Yeah.
It's going to have a huge damper on that New England offense. And also, in those 2 games, Tom Brady threw a total of 2 TDs and 2 interceptions. So that's just another thing where he's able to limit those interceptions. They play a hard-nosed defense, and what I think they need to do is press the receivers and play really uptight, force Brady to expose his deep ball, make him throw the deep ball, and then obviously take away the passes to the running backs on those wheel routes, which I think could be a problem, but we'll see how the linebackers are able to hold up. In 2016, the last time they played, 4 sacks on Brady. 2014, 2 sacks. So that's going to be another important thing between Ndamukong Suh, Aaron Donald, and Brockers. That 3-man line has been beastly this year. Probably one of the best in the league. Suh, obviously, we all picked for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Very important. Getting pressure up the middle on Tom Brady is going to be the key to this game. They have to push him out of the pocket, get him on the run. force him to make some contested throws. It seems like these last few games, they've kind of been able to out-coach the Chargers, and then KC's defensive coordinator kind of struggled. I noticed a lot in the last game. KC was playing 3 deep safeties, and that just doesn't work against the team. They were taking away the deep ball, which I think is what you should make Tom Brady do.
Protecting a lead, and you can't play safe against Brady.
They were letting him run the ball and throw short passes, and then protecting against the deep ball, which is, I feel like, a horrible scheme, which might be the reason he got fired. But
yep, they've been doing it all year.
So, he is gone already, yes.
So, yeah, the Rams D-line is definitely a deal breaker for this game. If they're able to show up and execute what Wade Phillips puts together, it's going to be a huge game for that defense, which is why I'm taking the under in this game. I'll save my prediction for later, but I like the under in this game mainly because of Wade Phillips. The last 2 games, he's held them under 19 points. I think he understands how this offense works and what needs to be done, and I think he has, between Talib, Peters, that D-line, he has the pieces to do it, and he never had a great linebacking core in Denver other than the edge rushers. So I think he's going to be able to put Brady in a tough position, and it all starts with that D-line.
Yeah, they got all-pro Aaron Donald, Dante Fowler, and I like that. But this offensive line for the Patriots is dominant, guys. Last year they allowed 35 sacks. This year they have only allowed 21 sacks in the regular season. They did lose Nate Soldier and Cam Fleming in free agency, but they also gained Marcus Cannon and Trent Brown. Guys, this team, the last time Tom Brady was not sacked in his playoff games was in 2003. What occurred? They won the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. They played the #1 pass rushing team in Kansas City. They played the Chargers, who have a great pass rush. No sacks, 3 QB hits.
He just gets rid of it so
quick,
and
it's monstrous.
They have an excellent line coach in New England,
yes.
too.
So I like this O-line, guys. They're good. They're averaging right now 27.3 points a game. They're ranked 4th on offense right now in the NFL. I love that. Like I said earlier, they haven't allowed a sack so far in the 2 games they've played, and they've played great rushing teams,
along with getting their run game going too.
Mm-hmm. So
one of the matchups that I'm kind of interested in is how Belichick kind of gets rid of Donald and Sue if he brings in an extra tight end, or how he uses the tailbacks, the chop block, or whatever he has to do to kind of slow that down.
He always takes your biggest strength, and in this case it's their outside corners and their D-line, and I think they're just gonna try to attack the middle of the field a lot, which is why I think Wade Phillips understands something like that, and he has to press. He has to maybe play a spy safety that drops down into the middle of the field more often. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on for you.
Oh yeah, and you guys got to think too. You got White in the backfield; he's gonna be coming out. Yeah. So that's what they're gonna do, guys. They're gonna allow these pass rushers to shoot in. They're gonna have White jump out on the outside and do a quick drop off. They're gonna do screens. They're gonna do.
I think there's going to be a lot of action before snap, motions and
watch how many times you watch this game. Watch how many times Brady will get up the line. He's going to read the defense, and they're going to completely change the whole play. They're going to go somewhere else.
He's the master of chess on the football field.
Oh, Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Well, I agree.
Well, I mean, Peyton Manning, what?
How dare you?
He has, what, 1 Super Bowl? 2 Super Bowls, Peyton Manning's?
I mean, there could be more than one grand master of chess.
Fair enough.
But yeah, we saw at the end of the KC game, Patriots were kind of in a dire need to score, and they were running that, if the safety drops down, they throw over the top to Gronk. If the safety stays high, then they throw over the middle to Edelman.
Yep.
And that's something that the Rams will have to scheme against. I think, personally, I'd rather force him to throw over the top more often. Yes, Gronk's great, but they have those big athletic corners that can win those one-on-one battles. They need to pack the box, stop the run game first, and then take away those short throws in the middle. The one weakness, which I talked about earlier, was those, I think the wheel routes to the running backs, given the speed compared to the Rams linebackers, is going to be tough to guard. But other than that, and the deep passes on the outside to Gronk and whatnot, other than that, I think they can do a really good job of slowing this offense down.
I mean, if you stop their short passing and that offensive line that's what I'm saying. Just let Sue and all them rush in. they're going to start biting on that. You do a quick screen, that's going to seal them right there. They're going to say, okay, now I can't rush at him so quick, so I got to sit back a little bit. So I like White. Well, I think White's going to have a huge game, guys.
Yeah. Well, that's just going to lead in a little, especially what Tanner said on that D-line and how Wade Phillips is going to scheme a little bit. I think that's going to lead into me and my position battle. That's the Rams defensive backs is kind of who I was focused on. So obviously I'm going to talk about New England's wide receivers, their tight ends, a few of the running backs as well. Defensively, I think this isn't even going to be looked at. Their defense changed substantially at the end of last year. Jermaine Johnson had been franchised twice. He's now, in New Jack City with Jamal Adams and my Jets. Oh yeah, but
how are they doing over
there?
there?
They franchised LaMarcus Joyner, Sammy Watkins left in free agency. Those were the three big pieces they were really looking at. They kept Joyner obviously with the tag, and him and John Johnson, really have kind of shored up the safety position for them there. And then obviously Peters just kind of fell in their lap after getting released from Kansas City.
There was a trade. They traded him.
The trade. Sorry about that. And then of course Talib. With Denver and the fallout there after the end of that season. So they kind of fell into those positions, and those are two ball-hawking corners. There may not be the highest, mentally or athletically. I think they make up for each other's weaknesses, though. And, what this is going to come down to, guys, is really the battle between, the backup corners or the nickel corners for the Rams. That's, Roby Coleman, or that's his name, right?
He's the
Roby
slot
Coleman.
corner.
Yeah. And Sam Shields against Hogan and Edelman. It's something interesting that New England does on offense. They don't have a traditional really X and Y receiver because Hogan and Edelman are both so small, so dynamic, so extremely quick and speedy that they play in the slot a lot as the top two receivers in that offense.
And you'll even see Gronkowski go out to the outside too.
Gronk and Patterson on the outside as well. So I think a lot of what's going to happen on the outside with Peters and Talib is going to be faux. It's going to be fluff. It's going to be showmanship. And I think, so just like you stated, a lot of the action is going to be in the middle of the field for New England's offense. So how is, Sam Shields and the guy who's running his mouth against Brady all week, running his mouth against Watson? Just shut up, guy. Like, you know what happens when you talk bad against Brady.
He coming for
rips you apart.
You gonna go.
So, I thought that was an interesting to see, a defensive back talking shit, but apologies about that, but New England's wide receivers on the other side, Hogan and Edelman. Obviously, we know how dynamic of a slot receivers they can be. On the outside, with Cordarrelle Patterson, Gronk moving on the outside there, Gronk up the seam. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how as good pass rush as the Rams do have, their run defense has kind of been a little porous. And statistically, they haven't been very well. And so I think New England's going to run the ball down their throats to kind of start the game off. And I think, White and Michelle out of the backfield are something that Roby Coleman and, Sam Shields are going to have to deal with as well. Because I think, like I said, Talib and Peters are going to be taken out of plays. If a lot of what Wade Phillips does scheme correctly and they're forced to throw down the ball, I think Brady can get in trouble with Peters' ball hawking ability. You don't throw deep balls in tight situations with Peters there. I think he's too good on with the ball in the air there. He did get burned once or twice in big plays, so I think it's interesting to see how he handles the spotlight. But I think the Rams defensive backs are in for kind of a tough day here. So, I think they're going to get attacked over the middle quite a bit. It's going to open up the seam route with Gronkowski. It's going to open up those running back routes with Michelle and White. And, although they have the talent to win and to keep up and to keep them in check, I think New England's wide receivers eventually wear them down.
Yeah, and then something I kind of want to get you guys' opinion on in this game. Talib and Peters are very physical corners. They press at the line. They're very physical in the game, which might, draw some flags in this game, which prop bets we'll talk about later, but the penalty yardage could be a good one.
Yeah.
Wade Phillips rarely does this. He has done it in the past, but he doesn't really have a cornerback shadow and move side to side and follow a receiver. Do you guys think that they're going to move possibly Talib and Peters on the inside, press Gronk, press Edelman, and force them to throw to the outside? Or do you think they're going to keep them on the outside and just lock down the one-on-ones on the outside and then stack the middle? Like, what do you think their game plan is going to be as far as that's concerned?
Yeah, I think they're going to leave them on the outside. Peters, he's not a very good inside corner, actually. At Kansas City, that's where he actually struggled drastically, was the inside, so they always kept him on the outside. But at the same time, this is not the same Peters that was at Kansas City. I think he's a lot worse than he was when he was at Kansas City, so I think they're going to gun for Peters, but he's going to stay on the outside. I don't think they're going to push him inside at all.
Yeah, I think they may create like a little wiggle and blitz occasionally from that cornerback position, but I don't think it's going to be something that's abnormal outside of the game plan. Both of these coaches are extremely well at reading situations and reading schemes and then making adjustments. So I think it'll be a good tactical battle throughout.
We saw what they did versus Michael Thomas last week. 4 catches for 36 yards.
After destroying him in the
keep an eye on that.
But look at that. Look what the Kamara did. 11 catches, 98 yards.
Yeah, that's... I mean, you gotta give up something.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. It's just the game.
And I think that given they had success, giving up the passes to the running back possibly could be the same situation.
Absolutely. Well, Cam, why don't you talk a little bit about New England's defensive backs?
All right, guys. Yeah, so if they have a weakness, I guess this would be it. I feel like the stats for these guys, so they were ranked 21st in passing yards given up per game with 359. But I feel like this stat is a little overvalued for how dominant they've been on defense and on offenses and whatnot. So I feel like they can just come in, and I feel like Stephon Gilmore, who's the all-pro there as the number 1, he's going to cover Robert Woods. He's going to watch him on the swing outs. He's going to watch him on the sweeps. And I feel like if they man cover there and leave the McCourty twins and Chung back, like they showed last week against the Chiefs when they came out, it was just pressure coverage right from the start. They're going to be very aggressive, hold them up at the line, make them run the ball. And I feel like if Goff has to beat him, I feel like the Patriots have a very good chance.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, run game is essential for the Rams.
I think for both teams, it's going to be essential in this game.
You pressure Goff, he's not very good at throwing once he gets pressured. He wants to sit back in that pocket and feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, thanks for that. Let's go into our predictions, guys, for that Super Bowl. We're going to save our ATS picks, both over and under on the game, as well as the line itself.
That bad boy right there.
For our back room. But let's start, Nolan. We think we know kind of what's going on there, but predictions for the game and the score.
Yeah, guys, so I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be 24-21. But get this head off of my table.
Oh.
I'm going Patriots. Patriots are going to win. Tom Brady, I believe in you. First time I'm ever going to say this, and the last time I'm ever going to say this. Tom Brady wins 24-21.
You should have seen the look of disdain on Cam's face over there in the corner.
He looks like he wants to come over and smash me.
Cam, what about you? Predictions for the game score?
With the Patriots 28-21.
2021. So that's 2 for the Patriots. Yeah, I'm gonna go for you. I'm gonna wait for so I can.
I will take the LA Rams.
It all comes down to Mike.
19-18, one of the lower scoring Super Bowls.
19-18. You got some weird score right there, buddy.
Wait, are we talking about Super Bowl MVP yet or no?
No,
I ain't gonna talk because you ain't gonna be able to talk.
We'll do it right after this. Then.
The Pats are just garbage. All right, the LA Rams by $1 billion. No. I think I'm going. LA does win this game though. I think Brady gets denied the 2nd year in a row.
Perfect. So let's make a pit of misery bet on this. You two against us.
I didn't give much context to mine, but I feel like this Patriots team is being a bit overvalued. Yes, they outcoached the Chargers. They controlled the time of possession versus the Chiefs, but this Patriots team is not as good as they've been in the past. They struggled this entire regular season. They didn't look that great. They had a couple bad losses in there. Brady hasn't been himself until, you could say the playoffs, but against the Chiefs, like we talked about last episode, he easily could have had under 300 yards, 3 interceptions, 1 TD, given that the offsides doesn't happen, and that's against the Chiefs.
Yeah, but they ran the ball 30 times.
I don't want to talk about
it.
Okay,
but they're not going to be able to do that. Look
on. 34-28
look at the run
Rams
game.
is my score.
34-28?
34-28.
I like it. Okay, so for your one question, you look at all the previous years, though.
No one's fired up now.
New England sucks at the start of the year. Kansas City walks into their home, beats the brakes off of them. They lose the next game. Everyone's like, this is Tom Brady's year. He's not going to make it. He's retiring. And all of a sudden, the end of the year comes, and what's happening? Patriots are either the 2nd seed or the 1st seed, and they dominate the playoffs every year.
I mean, I guess
I'm sick of it.
They just really don't have all the big names that they're used to, but this is still a dominant Patriots team.
You can. I understand what you're saying. In the last 8, Brady's been to 8 Super Bowls, right?
Yeah.
5 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Their scoring margin in all those Super Bowls combined, they're at a +4. So it's not like they're blowing teams out of the water. I think this defense is a defense that this is a defense that, I mean, this game's gonna be within a score.
Yeah.
And I think that this defense, Wade Phillips' last 2 matchups with the Patriots defense were those 2014-2016 games I talked about, which he won and held the Patriots under 20 points in both of them. So I think they have the personnel to do that exact same thing.
Is that your MVP? Wade Phillips?
I have a more surprising one when we get to it.
But you got Belichick. He going to study those two.
I really
Josh
think Tanner
has been pretty on top of it too.
I think Tanner's onto something here. I think this is one of the most talented teams New England's ever faced in a Super Bowl, and I think that's going to be part of the reason why LA keeps up with them and then eventually does end up beating them in the end. I think Brady's going to be right there. I think it's going to come down to that last drive. They're going to be up 6, and then they just won't be able to punch it in.
Yeah,
the Patriots could easily be 0-5 in their last 5. The only 2 they won in the last 5 were the interception against the Seahawks and then the amazing comeback versus the Falcons. Yes, they're a good team getting the Super Bowl, but they aren't the same. Yeah, they're winning Super Bowls, but they aren't the exact same team.
But what you're telling
everyone hypes them up to.
What you're telling me is you put more faith in
Brady.
You put more faith in Jared Goff than Tom Brady.
When I was
missing out on a very important aspect. Gurley is. I mean, who knows
gone.
what the hell is going to happen?
It's going to be Anderson.
So is this the same team with or without Gurley?
When I was breaking down this game, trying to find what I liked about both sides, that was the one hurdle I almost couldn't get over. Was the fact that the Patriots lost last season and they're coming into this season. They're looking for blood. They're facing another weaker QB, but the 3 Super Bowls they've lost are to Eli Manning twice and Nick Foles. So it's definitely possible that a quarterback like Jared Goff can win the Super Bowl, and I think that he has the pieces around him to do it.
I mean, it's very
it's possible.
But yeah, that was a tough hurdle trying to paint a picture in my head of the Patriots losing
running back to go. I mean, Anderson has come in and done great. I'm not saying,
but that's their MVP the last 2 years. Basically,
that's what I'm saying. If
disappear,
I think Gurley's been a lot more hurt.
Something mentally going wrong.
Yeah, I agree. He has to be injured, and they have to be, footballing that injury.
So I feel like.
So I'm going to put one question.
Big piece.
It comes down to the wire. Patriots are up 4. Do you have faith in Jared Goff? He's getting pressured the whole entire game.
I'm just hoping it doesn't get to that situation.
But if it does, that's what I'm saying. If it does,
I'll answer that. I don't know if I have trust in Goff to lead a game-winning drive in the Super Bowl. I have trust in the Rams' defense to stop Brady from doing one, though. So.
Okay. I like that.
I see that.
All right, guys. Well, what about your MVP? What about a deciding factor if you don't really have an MVP, Cam? What about yourself?
For MVP, I mean, if the Patriots win, it's going to go to Brady with some unexpected error. But for an X factor, since I had these secondary guys, I'm going to go with Jonathan Jones. He's going to be my X factor. He's going to be the guy that's going to be in the slot. He's going to be guarding maybe Brandon Cooks one-on-one all game because they're going to cover Robert Woods and leave a guy out in the flat. So he's going to kind of be my X factor, guys. He had 9 pass breakups this year, 58 tackles, but he's one of those lesser-known guys on that defense. I feel like he's going to step up.
Great pick. Tanner, what about yourself?
Yeah, my Super Bowl prediction, the score was kind of calculated, 19-18. I'm going with possibly the first kicker to win the Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me!
4 field goals and 1 touchdown for the Rams will win them this game. And if he ends the game like he did last week against the Saints, it's gonna be, and he outscores his whole team and they win the game. It's gonna be hard to keep the MVP from someone that puts up 12 points by himself.
I want to see what the prop is going to be on this, dude.
What's the top? say that.
I've actually got it right here. It's stay tuned.
Stay tuned for next.
We'll throw it
Okay. So is Greg Legg your deciding factor as well?
I'm gonna roll with Greg.
I like it. That's
a little crazy, dude.
All right, so
But I mean, if my prediction comes true,
I mean, it's
and he
always
has
possible.
12 of their 19 points,
Yeah.
And Brady
then
has
they
another
win the
bad
game.
game.
not give it to him.
It'd be hard.
I mean, yeah.
Well,
Obviously, a defensive player would stand a chance if it's that low score.
I mean, it's
but I
happening.
think if he kicks 4
yeah.
field goals, possibly 4 long
You have to worry
field
about
goals.
you have to worry about Donald right there.
That won it.
what the Seahawks?
Defensive Michael.
The
who was-
defensive
Who
player
was
that
the
won it?
Seahawks that won the defensive MVP?
Michael Bennett or
No,
no, I can't remember.
It was the
What are you talking about?
Oh, you're talking about.
Who
I know
was the
you're
Seahawks
talking
one?
Bobby
Yeah,
Wagner?
Bobby Wagner. He was the last defensive player.
Well, I
for
think
anything outside of QB to win the
if you
MVP.
think of it, if it's going to be
Yeah.
anybody outside of MVP or QB, I mean Donald.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
I was going that way too. Is no one is that who you're going with, or I mean, you're picking the Patriots to win? Who's your MVP and who's your deciding factor?
My MVP, it's like Cameron said, it's gonna be Tom Brady, I'm guessing. But my X factor, guys, it's gonna be James White. He has to get going. He has to be like Kamara. If he does that, I think they're gonna win.
Yeah, my MVP and deciding factor is someone who's kind of shut down in the NFC Championship game. Is Robert Woods for both questions. I think Robert Woods finds a way to get past the New England secondary, opens it up, and that's why it is high scoring. That's why New England does have to catch up and eventually doesn't. So that's my MVP and deciding factor, Robert Woods.
Ooh, I like this last one.
And obviously, does someone, does this win, guys? Does this make someone ride off into the sunset? Does the win leading into next year a little bit, a little sneak preview here? Does that win bring a huge free agent signing, guys? What is the result of your prediction?
Woo! I got a big one, boys. No, Tom Brady's going to stay. He's going to play another year, and they're going to make the playoffs again next year with him and Gronkowski. But the Rams will pick up Deshaun Jackson. After they lose, they're going to need a deep threat weapon. Deshaun Jackson.
Interesting. That would really open up the offense in a different way.
He
and
loves the Rams.
Add some more unpredictability. So.
I mean, as far as for me, guys, I feel like, like the Patriots are going to come in and roll in. Brady's still going to be there. As far as big name signings, I could see maybe like the Patriots going out and trying to get one of the bigger defensive guys just to add in another big name.
Because they just don't pay anyone.
I mean, yes, they don't pay, and he tries to kind of bring in his own talent, but they're just getting old on defense. So if he doesn't draft and he doesn't like the talent that he's drafted, they're going to have to make a splash on that side of the ball.
Yeah, they will.
The only two things that I think I talked about before the passing of the torch. I think McVay's going to be a huge spotlight come next season.
Absolutely.
And then second, I could see the Patriots adding possibly an up-and-coming backup quarterback to possibly build around Brady. Because I mean, the end's near.
Yeah.
So it's coming.
Okay, so
I'm just not sure who.
Here's a big question: do you think they want to go out? Do you think they're going to trade in the draft to pick one of the quarterbacks?
It's hard because the draft class this season isn't that great.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of getting someone that they believe in that isn't, he's probably a backup right now that possibly they go out and get in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if the draft class this season has that oomph to get them that new franchise quarterback.
I agree on that one.
Just one more little note. If Brady loses, it's going to put him at 4 losses. That's going to tie him with Jim Kelly for the most all time.
Yeah,
do you think that has any sort of tarnishment on his legacy?
Well, let me ask you this, in a question: Does that tarnish Magic's legacy?
I mean,
as far as best player ever, it does.
For me,
LeBron, I don't think it does. It just depends. Brady.
He's
a great quarterback.
Does that hinder you at all? Or
he's a winning quarterback.
It's a great debating question. I think it's something we need to revisit.
I think that's Brady's his go-to thing is he's a winner.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have very many stat categories he's leading, which possibly if he loses, it could shift the focus back over the stat category and be like, well, you don't have these stats. Yeah, you went to the Super Bowls, but
you also went 10 times.
You lost 4 of them out of 9.
And
so,
Tom Brady is known at every household. Everyone hates him.
I am going with something a little outside the box here, and with my LA Rams victory that I'm predicting, I don't think anyone. If the Patriots do win, I do think a number of their players do retire. Not some of their bigger name ones. Gronk may leave.
I believe that like the McCourty twins could retire. You know,
I was thinking that's exactly what I was thinking. Gronk and the McCourty.
I think he'll stay until
Gronk gets hurt too often.
I think Gronk will stay though until Tom Brady. I think once Tom's done.
So as far as my victory, I think he's been looking at a California team, but I don't think it's the right team. I think they make a move for Antonio Brown. And he ends up in LA next year with McVay. And the reason I say that is because they were in the running for Khalil Mack in the offseason. They made a move for Fowler midseason to fill that need. However, they were close to offering, if not right in the same ballpark, the same amount. 2 number ones. I think they could pull off a similar thing.
So if it's either a mastermind or it's all going to fall apart when they have to come back and pay all these guys.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're getting ready to pay. They just paid Donald a ridiculous amount of money. So if you're going to get AB, who's leaving? You're not going to have AB Cooks there. They're not all going to stay. You're going to have to get rid of someone.
Yeah, I think the new thing in the NFL is going to be you get a quarterback on a rookie contract and you pay everything you can to build around him and make a Super Bowl run, which is what the Rams are doing.
Listen, Kansas City, listen!
But once they have to pay Goff, they're definitely going to lose a lot of pieces. But they're going to try to win a Super Bowl before that.
And that's why I think if they capitalize, I think they're going to try to keep that window open, and they just try to add another piece. Because they don't really have another weakness outside of that. I mean, their rush defense is a little concerning. But outside of that, I mean, running back, quarterback, cornerback, defensive line, I mean, you're really important. Offensive line, maybe. Offensive line, but outside of that, that's who you're adding.
Aren't they losing? They're losing soon next year, right? So. Isn't he on a 1-year contract?
He's on a 1-year deal, and that was kind of greased by a familiar contact in the organization. So we'll see how that plays out. But guys, let's finish it up here. The little Four Corners back room, guys. Let's take it, this to a more private area. It's that time. Some smart plays, some inside scoops of what we're looking for at this upcoming week. There are these are some of the better, pun intended, plays, props, and lines that we are noticing for you to take advantage of. Cam, why don't you start off a little bit here on this? We're obviously, guys, going to save a lot of this section for our prop bet edition. So we're going to keep this short and sweet, guys.
So I kind of just have one little insight, one little thing I noticed that was very intriguing to me. So the Rams, when the line opened, guys, was a -1. As of right now, the Patriots are -3.5. 96% of the money.
2.5.
Now it's down to 2.5. So but 96% of the money bet, especially at this one casino, it might be more like elsewhere, but it's 96% of the money is on the Patriots. 9 bets over $100,000. So explain to me how Vegas opens with the Rams and it's lopsided to all of the money on the Patriots. I could see the Rams, Vegas could be raking in $1 billion on this game.
It's all the Atlanta fans, bro.
When they released the line, I think on paper the Rams are the better team. They have a better record. They played better this season. They got the personnel. It's just that experience that everyone's kind of.
You think it's just the hype?
The Patriots are getting so much hype for beating the Chiefs and the Chargers back to back, and looking very good in those games. And I'm just not sure if it's there.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just I think there's a lot of hype. Yes, they're a good team, but they're not as good as they've been in the past couple
guys,
years.
They played a top 5 defense in the Chargers.
Yeah.
Wrecked them. They played the #1 offense in the Chiefs. Wrecked them.
Played 2 inexperienced D coordinators, though.
I mean, I think
Bob Sutton is not inexperienced. Bob Sutton he was with Kansas City for 8 years. Oh, he's horrible. I'm not going to say he's a good coach, but he's not. He's been there. He's played in the playoffs with them, and that's why we never won. But at the same time, the Patriots have beaten great teams to get here. This is not an easy road.
So if the Rams beat the Cowboys and then the Saints in the Superdome.
Well, yes, but who would you rather have, the Cowboys or the Chargers? Who do you think would win, Cowboys or Chargers?
I mean, I would say Chargers.
And who is going to win?
That's a tough.
The Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
What?
I honestly I trust that defense.
There's no offense on the Cowboys except Elliott, and who can stop Elliott?
The best
Bosa.
O-line in the game.
But that's irregardless.
The Chargers have a great D though.
Okay, well, what about? Let's just get your ATS out of it. The line's 2.5. The over/under is what? Tanner? Did you see that?
It's 56 right now.
Yeah. So I mean,
You obviously had the Patriots to win.
So I'm going to take the Patriots. But I believe I'm going to go on Tanner's side. It's not going to be that low, but I'm going to go with the under on this one.
I'm going under too.
Yeah, I like the under, and something to keep an eye on if you are betting the under. A lot of the player props, like will James White score a touchdown, Sonny Michel, Gronk, Edelman. If you just stack up maybe 8 or 9 guys and you just bet the no, it's going to be minus probably 110 for the better players and 300 for the worst players. Yeah. But there's no way there's going to be that many touchdowns. Maybe 2 of those 8 are going to score. You're going to make, that's just such a smart bet. You're going to make money. So, I mean, if you're trying to bet, do something like that. If you're trying to gamble, obviously take a plus side. Yeah. But I think the smart bet is just taking a lot of players with the no on the touchdowns. But we'll get more into that in the prop bet.
Absolutely. I'm obviously taking the Rams in that against the spread. I also am, what is that, the over's 56? Yeah. I said 34-28. So, that's the over, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's what,
that's
54?
60 points.
60. Yeah. That'd be 60.
Okay, yeah.
62.
You're right. So I'm going the over, I guess, on that line. I think it's going to be a little higher scoring than some people were thinking. Even, I guess, what I was thinking, I was leaning towards the under just first glance at 56, but my score prediction says the over, so I'm going to stick with that, guys, and I'm going to go with the over.
All right,
so there was 73 points last year.
So before we peace out and give it back to Mike, so we got you 2 are taking the Rams, us 2 are taking the Pats.
Let's go.
So let's do a pit of misery. Losers, pit of misery. You guys in?
Losers pit of misery?
A specific pit of misery, or we just draw random?
We'll draw one next.
We'll draw one.
You guys will draw one when you lose.
No! You're going to draw a Tom Brady jersey, buddy.
Yeah. That'd be terrible.
Make you wear that to work.
Absolutely terrible.
All right. And also on our Twitter, 4 Corner Sports with 2 S's and 4 Corners ATS, we might be doing a contest. If you get your prediction for the Super Bowl and closest person maybe get a t-shirt sent to them of their favorite team or something like that. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you go follow both Twitters because we will have a competition of some sort with the Super Bowl scores.
Yeah. Well, Cam, outside of Twitter, how can they get a hold of us at 4 Corner Sports, or how can they find some more content if they're looking for it?
Guys, our main one is SoundCloud, but we're on Apple iTunes.